Right, so not affected by hard water would have actually been correct. Soapless detergents are not affected by hard water, and the correct answer is C. C is the correct answer. Wait. I am saying one thing and this is saying another thing. Guys, I'm gonna fact check this one, because we just read the textbook and we saw that they are made from fats. Sorry, they are not made from fats. Right, that is true. The following statement is true of soapless detergents. Soapless detergents are made from fats. That is false. They are biodegradable. That is also false. They are not. They are not affected by hard water. That is true. That is what mixed me up. They are really not affected by hard water. They are inorganic materials. False. Correct answer is 43D. 43 is D as in dog. Alright, 44. Which of the following substances is a product of halogenation reaction with methane? It's gonna be hydrogen chloride. Yes, it is. Because whenever you have halogenation of methane, you're gonna have 4 hydrogens around the methane. It's gonna be displaced by a halogen, right? And it's gonna form hydrogen chloride. Items 45 to 46 refers to the following compounds. Which compound is an alcohol? Compound D is alcohol, the OH. Which is an alkene? Alkene is A. Remember, alkenes have twice as many hydrogens as there are carbons. So the following features is not true of all homologous series of compounds. The members of a series have the same functional group. They have the same general formula. They have the same empirical formula. They have similar chemical properties. Right, they all have similar empirical formula. Once you simplify their general formula or their molecular formula, you will get the same empirical formula. They have the same general formula and they have the same functional group. So 47 is C. They all react. They react the same. However, based on the amount of carbons present, their reactivity can in fact change. So 47 is C. A polyamide is formed by the condensation reaction between a molecule containing I believe this is the correct answer here. A. At least one COOH and NH2. Once I see amide, I'm thinking about amine, which the functional group is NH2. And polyamides are, for example, I think they're the synthetic proteins, and proteins are amino acids, right? Amino acids being formed from amino groups and carboxylic groups. That's for protein. However, polyamides are the synthetic version of proteins, so I'm sticking to A being the correct answer. Once again, polyamides are formed from the reaction with a carboxylic acid and an amino group. We know that for this one, D, alcohol and carboxylic acid, the answer, it would have been ester. This would have been an ester here. A solution when treated with sulfur dioxide gas becomes green. The solution contains potassium I'm gonna stick with dichromate. That's the only thing I know that can become green. 50. The functional group present in carboxylic acids is this one, COOH. 51. When copper carbonate is heated alone in a dry test tube, a gas is evolved and a black residue is formed. The gas is expected to.
Miss, that one is the carboxylic acid.
Oh, thank you, Sashali. I thank you. So it is yes, B. C double bond OOH. I don't know how I saw the double bond here, but yes, this is correct, B. So 51, the copper carbonate, which is CuCO3, is heated alone in a dry test tube. A gas is evolved and a black, I think we see something like this already. A gas is evolved and a black residue is formed. The gas is expected to be, so this gas, I expect this gas to be carbon dioxide. That's the only thing you can get from copper carbonate. So it says turn red litmus paper blue. No, the gas is not really basic. Real lights are going splint. No, carbon dioxide is likely to out the going splint. Decolorizes acidified potassium permanganate. No. Forms a white precipitate with calcium hydroxide. Yes. Carbon dioxide gas there. The compound which has the formula CH3 CH double bond CH CH2 CH2 CH3 is an alkene. The double bond right here. It's not an
Okay,
unsaturated
I was just
acid.
going to ask you how you know it so fast.
The double bond is not acid because acids would have the OOH. So it's not any form of acid. These are out of it. And polymers don't have double bonds. Yeah, matter of fact, in order for you to make a polymer, you have to remove the double bond. So the correct answer has to be 52A. 53. Which of the following observations is likely when excess aqueous ammonia is added to a solution of copper sulfate and the mixture is shaken? Excess aqueous ammonia. I'm going to expect something blue because of the copper ions. Green would be iron 2 plus. Deep blue solution. Let me write out the equation just to be sure. Ammonia. Aqueous ammonia is actually NH 4OH plus. Alright, so we have that right there. Could have also written it as just NH3 because it's still in fact ammonia. When we react this, we form technically something that we call a ligand. I don't want to get too in depth with that. So I'm just gonna say that the solution that we form is based on the copper ions that we have here, right? So what we're gonna see is that we're gonna see a deep blue solution. We won't exactly form a precipitate because the ammonia right here is soluble, and when we combine everything, we're gonna form copper ammonium sulfate, which is soluble. So I'm gonna go with deep blue. It's a deep blue solution that we form. Just try to memorize this one. Try to memorize this answer here. It's a deep blue that we see. 54. Potassium is a metal. From this statement alone, it may be deduced that potassium is very soft. I already go with this one. However, it is also very... Alright, them say from the statement alone. Metal. It's a good conductor of electricity, has a low melting point. That would have been wrong. Is very reactive. So these three are actually all correct, but they're asking about the statement itself. If somebody tells me about a metal, I'm gonna say that it is soft or that it can conduct electricity. So I'm gonna look for the most correct answer. 55. Which of the following procedures can be used to identify ammonia gas? Ammonia gas, passing the gas through lime water, no. Placing a burning splint in a jar of gas. Remember, lime water is for carbon dioxide, burning splint is for oxygen. Placing a glowing splint, actually, burning splint is for carbon dioxide as well. Can use it for carbon dioxide. Glowing splint is for oxygen. Moist litmus paper up to blue, yes, because ammonium is considered to be basic. So D would have been the correct answer. So the correct answer, the most correct answer above for 54, the most correct answer is D. Metal suggests that it's able to conduct electricity. Most correct answer is D. Also, if the statement would have said that potassium is found in the electrochemical series, the answer would have been it's very reactive. Please note that group 1 metals and group 2 metals are considered to be soft as well. That's why I have it as check here. So like sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, those are all soft. You can think about the white calcium powder in the lab. That is very soft. So they are very soft. However, when you put them to react with water or acids, they are very reactive. So yes. Moving on. 56. Which of the following reactions is least likely to occur? Least likely to occur. Copper. Iron can displace copper. Yes, it can, because copper is low in the electrochemical series. Copper can displace silver. Yes, it can, because silver is lower than copper. Magnesium can displace zinc, because zinc is higher than zinc. Sorry, magnesium is higher in the electrochemical series than zinc. So I'm gonna go with B. And if I were to look up the electrochemical series right now, I'm sure it's still gonna be B. So we're looking for the difference between lead and iron. And as we can see, iron is higher than lead in the electrochemical series. So iron would keep its place. Yeah, iron would keep its place. So yes. So all I did for this one was that I use what I know to deduce what I don't know. So 56 is B. As I say, like for the electrochemical series, you just need to remember these ones here. Remember where hydrogen is, copper and silver is. Remember, silver is the last one. And then at the top, you have potassium, sodium, calcium, and magnesium. All of those ions, they're at the top. They're the most reactive. That's just how I remember it, and it's really helpful. 57. refers to the following table, which shows the reaction of four metals: metal Y, X, Z, and with water or steam. So the metals are reacting with water or steam. The table also shows the products formed when nitrates of each metal are heated. So W, no reaction. Says W has no reaction with water. Products formed are the metal, the nitrate, and the oxygen when you heat it. Alright, reacts with steam and but not with cold water. Forms the oxide, and this reacts rapidly with cold water. This one is very reactive. Forms the nitrate, and oxygen reacts slowly with cold water. So the most reactive is this one. Which of the metals above is likely to form a soluble hydroxide? The one that is likely to form the soluble hydroxide is gonna be Y, the one that is most reactive. So all they're really looking at, how to know that something is reactive, is if it's react very vigorously in cold water, right? That's a good way to tell the reactivity of something. Or its reactivity in air. If you just put it out and it reacts with air just like that without even burning it, it's very reactive. And usually the most reactive elements, especially the metals and non-metals, metals, they are soluble in water. So my answer here, 57, is C. 58, the fermentation of sugars using glucose as the substrate can be represented by the equation. Glucose is C6H12O6 plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide and water. But I'm not seeing the ethanol. Alright, so C is the correct answer. This is wrong actually, because it is fermentation is anaerobic. No oxygen is present in fermentation. So 58 is C as in cat. 59, which metal appears between copper and aluminum in the reactivity series and is an important component of hemoglobin? I'm gonna go with iron. Iron is an important component of hemoglobin. Which of the following, and I think aluminum would actually be higher than copper if I'm not wrong. Yeah, there we go. Aluminum is higher than copper. All the ions are at the top. Aluminum is higher than copper, and then we have iron and lead. Notice how they put this question, because you have iron, lead, zinc, and hydrogen. Iron and lead could actually be, any of these could actually be the answer, but the one that is the important component for hemoglobin is iron. 60, which of the following gases will give a positive test with dry cobalt chloride paper? I think it actually changes from blue to pink. I am going to say that this answer is water. So while all the other tests like the litmus paper test and all of those things I would have done in the lab to test for acids and bases, those tests are really just for acid and bases. The pH scale, the pH meter, the pH paper, indicators, those are really just for acid and bases. But the cobalt chloride paper is used to test for the presence of water, which it changes to pink if water is present. So 60 is D. And I'm going to finish here. I'm gonna save it and see if I can send it as well. Right, any questions? All right. Have a good night. I'm gonna try to push for tomorrow as well.
Please do, miss. But what time?
Yes. Same.
Same
Same
time
time.
tomorrow,
Yes.
Wednesday. I have a
Tomorrow is
uh, one class, so I'll try to come
what time is your class?
from 5:30 to 8:30.
Oh, well, I'm gonna record it still, so we'll see. You'll probably have
Alright.
access